What is up, my cutouts? Cardboard Ninja here, going over a video from the devs for Steel Gladiators that's going to drop in about a day now. So I'm going to do some quick reactions to some of the things that the devs say, see if we can't get a little insight on how Crossout's going to be in the future. And yeah, let's get into it. This is basically live reaction, something that's different than normal from what I normally produce. And we're going to see what we feel about the new upcoming season pass.
Provide you guys. Would you like to
Take a look.
start the AC64 Joule?
So he's showing off a therm here, and yeah, forgive me for being in the lower left-hand corner. I'm going to cover that up anyway. The thing is, he never fires this during the entire video, but this basically fires like the Joule, does 9 damage, but it's explosive, if I recall correctly. It fires exactly like the Joule. It's just a lower tier, craftable Joule autocannon. Oh, how do I feel about this? It's good. In general, I think that just giving this weapon to newer players or anybody who's starting the game is a good idea. You only get one at the start, but I think at Season Pass level 10 they give you 2 more, so you get a total of 3 fused. Some people may want 4 fused for Leviathan purposes, but other than that, you get more than enough. I think you also get the ability to craft it later, so that's good. Just going to mute them. I myself am going to use these, not joking, in the construction of a Leviathan, probably a booster levy. From there, you get a whole bunch of pictures, standard stuff. Anybody who wants these CKs, that's going to be sick nasty. People are going to use the heck out of those lights. He's showing you the additional jewels. They don't show you the stats of them, doesn't really matter. The CK to the piercer. I mean, any CK is good, only because CKs are non-transferable, non-tradable. You can't get them anywhere else, so you may as well get a hold of the ones that you get in the battle pass. You also get coins, as you do. The trombone. This is where things are going to get interesting. Let me see if I can't find him firing the trombone. Let me guess, I skipped right past it. It's in here somewhere, chat. I'm so sorry. Alright, there you go. So, as you can see, it does nothing for damage. This thing is a mid to long range support weapon. Think of it kind of like this. The issue with this weapon is going to be that it is bad. I'm just going to come out right and just say it. Works a lot like the Nest. The Nest is bad. The Nest is known for its very bad damage and its unreliability. This weapon continues the trend with poor damage and poor reliability. There are some advantages to this weapon, though. I will say that. Before anyone thinks that this is completely useless, there is actually a use for this weapon, and it is not PvP, it is PvE. Each of these weapons, the trombones, each of them takes 2 energy, so this guy's using 4 energy on it, and probably not worth the full 4. But if you use one of them for 2 energy, there is a use for it in PvE. So if you're fighting Leviathans, or if you're trying to do raids for copper or for electronics or whatever, this weapon actually does have a use. You can use it with dual retchers, right? So this gives you the ability to effectively double your damage with retchers in PvE. That's great. So this weapon does have a use. You get 2 of them in the battle pass, but it's not going to be game changing in PvP. The perk of the Nest, the perk of the trombone, is that the further away that the enemy is, the better the missiles track. So he's trying to fire this over a course of 50 meters, and it's not really hitting. But the overall idea is that further away, it will track tighter and tighter until like it's guaranteed to hit them. But the damage is minuscule by design. It's just a support weapon. It's not going to really change much in Crossout, unfortunately. It's good to have. PvE, probably helpful. Get a whole bunch of resources and currency, a CK, one of the best looking ones I could possibly think of for the brick that is the humpback. Definitely awesome. Definitely awesome. Spray paint, yada yada yada. CK for the quantum, or yeah, I think it's the quantum. Yeah. Anyway, it's decent. I honestly don't like it that much because I actually think the quantum looks pretty slick in its default state. Oh, drone cancer. Here we go. So this is not going to be fun. So, as the devs explain, these drones do not target your cabin. These drones target the things that matter to you most in life. They target your wheels, movement parts, they target your weapons, and they drill in for 66 damage before exploding. They didn't ever test this on the damage ball, so I don't know the total amount of damage on this explosion. Mr. G has access to a promotional account. He didn't test it on the damage ball either. We only know that this thing can explode for a fair deal of damage, and so far I've yet to see a weapon survive it. Honestly, there's so much to talk about when it comes to drones and deployables and things like that in Crossout. People just think, I don't know, maybe the Spark is going to counter this. I don't think so. I think that this attack moves far too fast for the Spark to counter. Most Sparks are built in such a way that they don't have access to the sky, so you won't be able to decloak things that are floating. The invisible drone flies like maybe, I want to say 10 meters off the ground. So it's really unlikely that it's going to be hit by incidental fire. So like incidental fire being like people firing down range at each other, you know, back and forth, weapons being fired at each other, and the drone might get hit. That's not going to happen. These drones are very high up, even over a very long distance. These drones are very unlikely to receive, unless intentional fire fired directly at them, they're not going to receive damage. So yeah, these are going to be annoying. As for meta, I don't know. So if you've ever fought the Yaoguai, if you've ever fought against the Jiboku, this falls into that. This drone falls squarely into that category of Jesus, annoying Christ. This is going to be annoying as hell to fight. Most people like want to drive around the map unhindered. This is like an intentional battlefield hindrance. The duration of the drones is 45 seconds, if I recall correctly, which is very similar to that of a cap cannon, in fact, identical. So, yeah, that's going to be rough. That's going to be rough, guys. I think you know, if you play Crossout and you like battlefield shit getting in your way and clipping through your vehicle and destroying your stuff, you're going to love it. Hey, Spark CK. Looks awesome. Can't wait. Like, I'm glad I haven't sold my Spark. Looks good. Looks real good. Like, I really like it. Hope everyone else likes it. Again, I've said earlier with CKs, get them where you can. The Hadron, or the Hadron, named after the super collider. This thing is going to be interesting. Last time I guessed the tier of a cabin in the dark, and that was the master, and I put it at S tier, and I was wrong. I need to put an update video out because that is not an S tier. After going over it multiple times, it's closer to D, C or D, most likely D. But we're going to go over the Hadron right now. Anybody taking a look at this knows this is A tier minimum A tier. I can see the geometry. I know that it's big. It looks amazing. The devs say something to the tune of, "Oh, I don't think this is gonna work on sideways hovers." It's gonna work on sideways hovers. It's gonna work. So, yeah, large awkward geometry, but it looks awesome. Like, let's be completely real. It looks good. Just look at it in the background. It just looks good. I know it looks good. You know it just looks good. If I recall correctly, 4 pins high, 10 pins wide, or long. I said wide for sideways hovers. I think it's 6 wide, which is your standard. So it's got a very large volume, but its perk is really, really unique to Crossout and very, very strong. As he says, you know, first and foremost, this technically has 2 perks. First medium cabin that has a technicality 2 perk on it. All other medium cabins that have 2 perks are situational 2 perks, meaning that it's one or the other, never both at the same time. This is technically a both at the same time situation. So cutting 15% off of your reloading speed, then outright it evens all your reloads, and the maximum benefit you can get, and this was not posted before, but is posted now, is 40%. Before, the theoretical maximum was 50%. Now it's just 40%. They took 10% off of that theoretical maximum. That's a who gives a crap moment there, right there. So they show the reason why the king has shot up in price overnight, right up ahead from here. Long story short, I just want to go over the number of cabins that have reload bonuses in the game. There are currently 3. There is the Echo, which is a situational 50% increase, which is a phenomenal increase. It's awesome, but something tells me it's not going to be as useful as the Hadron. The next one is a 15% increase, similar to the Hadron, which comes from the Omnibox secondary ability, but you can't, AI doesn't utilize it. So for example, if you make a Leviathan out of that, you can't get that 15% reload bonus because the AI will never activate the engine. And the third is from the Dead Man, which gives 15% at 2 weapons equipped. I think it's like 25 or 40 or something percent with one weapon, then 15 with two, and then 10 with three, and 0 for more than that. So the Dead Man has very limited uses, but the Hadron gives 15% all the time, and then also averages the reload across everything. So just assuming at 15% reload itself, with all the shapes and the sizes of the actual cabin, I'd say it was an A tier cabin minimum. And then the fact that you can get up to 40% more reload based on putting on another weapon that is effectively vestigial. However, in this game, there are such things as vestigial weapons. An example would be that they're weapons that are not necessarily vestigial that have a purpose, such as the King. King Mine Layer has a relatively fast reload, and in addition to it having a relatively fast reload, is not vestigial. You can drop mines. Mines last 45 seconds or so, and they will protect you. So, believe it or not, this isn't an invalid setup. This setup, it wouldn't be meta before, but with the Hadron, this could be a meta setup, and they demonstrate that moments from now when they're like, "Hey, would you like to have your Scorpions go pew pew super fast?" And this is not an exaggeration. They're just like, "Hey, watch this." Yep, that's how fast it reloads. That's just as fast as Scorps can reload now. Yeah, sure, he's pooping out in a mine, but I mean, you can just put the mine on a different button. They don't fire at the same time. But yeah, and that provides you a defense, which is the mine behind you, and provides you an offense, which is the Scorpions in front of you. Now, I don't know if you know, this is going to have an effect on the market for the King, but I think it already has. So yeah, the Hadron seems like a very, very, very powerful cabin. If people are willing to sacrifice all of the other modules that go into making a meta hover, then this is going to be the next type of meta hover. Most people will remember that most meta hovers are going to be using things such as cloaking devices. They're going to be using things like engines. They're going to be using all sorts of stuff to stay off the radar, to give themselves mobility, and so on and so forth. This will take that away. Ish. This is actually also a fast cabin. This thing is like, if I recall correctly, what, 80 kph, something like that. Did he post it? Like, I'm sorry, I think it's like 80. So this thing is a fast cabin with very, very, very good mass. Like, this is very, very, very good mass. Very good mass. Mass limit, great mass. 80 kph. I think this is faster than the Nova, slower than the Beholder, but solid nevertheless. And it looks like the one that's in the battle pass is fused for both mass limit and mass. So that's good. That's amazing. Like, this thing will work on spiders. This thing will work on, which of course, you know, as you know, are great in general. Well, you know, the big ram spiders are great in general. This is going to definitely work with hovers because everything does. This thing doesn't have super awkward geometry. The height, which is the thing that destroyed the master cabin, doesn't come into play. It doesn't come with awkward weld points. It's just a boatload of reload. So there you have it. Like, it's going to be the new Air Sky Cancer. You guys hated Scorpions from space lasering down at you. You're going to hate them even more because you just got them coming at you about 40% faster. And also, yeah, we'll see. I'll post an image to the King Mine to see if that price has been edited based on the like the release of this video. By the way, just so you guys are aware, there are other weapons that reload that are similar to the King Mine that are just as fast, or if not faster, which would provide even more benefit to reload, that do exist, but they just, for example, showed the King Mine layer here. But the King Mine might be the cheapest. I think every other reload option that I saw was 4. King Mine is 3 energy, and that alone is probably enough to tip the scales for the King Mine being the next best, most expensivest thing. They go over a bunch of arena stuff. I think the arena stuff is cool. They did not go over the entirety of the arena pass here, and I apologize for that. If I can find when they start going through the arena pass. If I can find... Here we go. So yeah, there's more than... What was this? 9, 18... 27. They never reached the final page, I don't think, of the arena pass. Otherwise, I would pause it for you. Oh, here we go. So let's see here. They give you a bunch of cars that can be used in the arena, which is not really that important. They give you a cosmetic. That's good. They give the ability to construct destructors. That's also pretty good. Workpiece destructors. These may be at a discounted price. I don't know. Most of the time, so far up until now, every single time you get a workpiece for a piece of work that exists already, it's at a discounted amount, so it takes less triggers or less whatever. I hope that's the case here, which means that you can craft cheaper destructors, hopefully with 33 ranks of this arena pass. Hopefully. Otherwise, you just get the ability to craft more destructors, and that's still decent. Destructors are a good gun, and I think that those will be worth having regardless. You get a CK at 9, and I think that's just about it. So basically, you just get these arena cars. The arena cars can only be used in this arena game mode. I think this is fair. I think that this helps new players play in this arena game mode, but in reality, if you queue up for arena, you're going to be up against some meta-ass builds, and I don't know if these are going to keep up with that, but if it's power score based, so for example, power score range of like, 5k or something, then these will do just fine. This thing's using, either 3 sledgehammers? I think those are 4 sledgehammers? They'll be fine. It'll be fine. And yeah, I think that's that, right? Oh yeah. Sorry. This is that. Final thing they go over is this Relic Saw. Each Relic Saw does 300 damage per hit, which is, I believe, 100 damage per saw. This thing launches 3 saws each. So the idea is there's 3 saws in here. Each of them do 100 damage. If all 3 hit, it does 300 damage. At close range, all the saws hit basically the exact same point. And at long range, it does spread. They barely show that spread off at one point, because I didn't notice that until they fired at a distant target for the first time ever when I was watching this initially. Let me see if I can't find that for you. They're just showing off the reload. There we go. It's right around here that they actually fire it. And by that, I mean right before that point. So as you can see, or if you could have seen that because it's really grainy, the saws spread out. They basically form a fan. See? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. So they make a fan, so over great long distances, they're going to hit a bunch of times for 100 damage. Close range, again, people are going to compare this to a shotgun because, yeah, it's on the Crossout. But yeah, it's basically a long-range bladed shotgun. Each of them does 100 damage. They stick into the ground. You drive over them. They've yet to show the damage when people drive over them, but something tells me it's not going to be good. This is very bad. Again, I've said this in other videos. I've said this on my Twitch channel, but this feels like a Seal Clubby weapon. This feels like a relic designed specifically to Seal Club. One final thing, these are not 180. I'm sorry, there's not 360-degree turrets. They have about an 80-degree firing arc from left to right. So that's just something to keep note of. Yeah, this feels like a Seal Clubby weapon because you just put 1 or 2 of these on your vehicle. It goes low power scores, you can get it. Throw those things in the ground. Watch people who don't have hovers drive over them and get punished substantially. They have a decent impulse when they hit. They do some good damage, but again, this is something that I won't be able to get my hands on in the actual game because it's a relic, which means that expect the price of uranium to go directly to the moon, Alice, and not come down for a good long time. But these are very Seal Clubby. They're not going to affect very large builds, typically, which is, say, very high power score, because, well, no one's going to be driving over those blades. In a frantic paced game like Crossout, like low tier, where everyone's driving around, this is gonna be just like Porcupines. It's just gonna be just like ye old cap cans. It's gonna be painful. It's just going to be more Battlefield things to look out for. But yeah, I believe that more or less covers the upcoming pass that people are looking at. I do believe the Hadron is going to be an amazing thing to get. I sincerely hope everyone who gets the pass enjoys it. My thoughts on the pass as a summary, I think, oh yeah, by the way, you're also going to be able to get the ability to craft the current S tier and still S tier light cabin, the Griffin. So if you don't have one, perhaps it'll be at a cheaper rate, hopefully. But anyway, to summarize the Battle Pass, I will be getting it personally. That's just me. I'm definitely going to get the Battle Pass regardless. Is it worth it? If you're a Crossout whale and you're already going to buy everything, you don't need me to tell you you're probably going to get it. If you are not a Crossout whale, you should probably get it. This thing is only 55 levels high, or 54 levels high. 55 plus keeps giving you coins. So it means that you're going to get far more coins in this Battle Pass than normal. But other than that, it's got the Hadron and it's got the Joule, the mini Joule. Everything else is just, well, fluff. is the Hadron and the, I keep pronouncing it Hadron or Hadron, sorry about that. I'll just go with whichever. Is the Hadron worth it? Probably. Honestly, probably. Oh, I'm sorry, and I forgot the trombone. Trust me, it will be as forgotten as it was in this video. It is not going to be meta defining. Yeah. So, is it worth it to you? You'd have to make that decision on your own for a bunch of CKs and 2 to 3 weapons. The weapons aren't going to be meta defining that they're giving us. I think they give you access to the triggers, but the cabin most likely will be one you don't want to miss. So, personally, I'm going to get it. It depends on how badly you want that cabin, honestly, truly. But yeah, other than that, I think, oh, I'm sorry, there's also these Sky Cancer drones. So yeah, okay, sorry. With all the things wrapped up, it's probably worth getting. Just because, unless you super hate the Sky Cancer drones, then there you go. So these drones are going to be really, really, really annoying for everyone to deal with. By the way, as a pro tip, because of the way they cloak and all that stuff like that, fire them off early in the round at on the flanks. And that's it. Just leave them on the flanks. That's it. You don't need to fire these directly into combat. Just leave them in the flanks. If somebody shows up and they try and pass by it, then they'll get targeted by the drones and then lose their wheel or lose their gun or something else critical on their build. They did not show how many hit points these things have, by the way. And when I say how many hit points they have, I mean the drones when they're attached to your vehicle. If they can be shot off, that'd be nice. So value of the spark is probably going to go up. That's a good guess. So yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to really go over with the Battle Pass. It's upcoming. See you on the battlefield, guys. Peace.